a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, a young boy named Ethan lived a simple life. The son of a carpenter, he spent his days assisting his father in the workshop and exploring the surrounding woods. Yet, Ethan had always yearned for something beyond the mundane routine of village life. What fascinated him most was magic, not the kind wielded by wizards in tales, but the sleight-of-hand illusions performed by traveling performers. Every time a magician passed through the village, Ethan would linger at the edge of the crowd, eyes wide with wonder as objects vanished and reappeared with a flick of the magician's wrist. One fateful day, a performer named Alaric visited the village. Unlike the other magicians Ethan had seen, Alaric's tricks seemed otherworldly. Coins floated in midair, playing cards danced in synchronized patterns, and he made an entire table vanish in plain sight. When the performance ended, Ethan mustered his courage and approached Alaric. The boy's eagerness was evident in his voice as he asked, "How do you do it? How can I learn?" Alaric smiled, his eyes twinkling with a mix of amusement and intrigue. "Magic is not just about the tricks, my boy," he said. "It's about mastering the art of deception and understanding the mind. If you truly wish to learn, there is a place where you can." The magician handed Ethan a small, intricately designed card. On it was an address and the name, the Academy of Illusions and Tricks. Ethan's heart raced as he read the words. "But beware," Alaric added. "Not everyone who enters the academy succeeds. It demands dedication, creativity, and an unyielding spirit." Ethan's determination was unwavering. After weeks of persuading his parents and saving what little money he could, he set off for the academy, which was rumored to be located deep within a sprawling city. The journey was long and arduous, but Ethan's excitement kept him going. Upon reaching the city, he followed the address to a nondescript building hidden in a narrow alley. A brass plaque on the door read, "The Academy of Illusions and Tricks." Inside, the academy was nothing like Ethan had imagined. The walls were lined with shelves crammed with books, props, and peculiar objects. Students of all ages practiced their craft, making objects float, transforming scarves into birds, and performing card tricks with astonishing precision. Ethan was mesmerized. He was greeted by a stern yet kind woman named Madame Celeste, the headmistress. "Why have you come here, young man?" she asked, her piercing gaze seeming to look straight into Ethan's soul. "I want to learn magic," Ethan replied, his voice steady despite his nervousness. "I want to amaze people and make them believe in the impossible." Madame Celeste nodded. "Very well, but be warned, this path is not for the faint-hearted. Magic requires more than nimble fingers. It demands patience, ingenuity, and the ability to think 10 steps ahead." Ethan's training began the next day. The curriculum at the academy was rigorous. In the mornings, students attended lectures on the psychology of illusion, how to misdirect attention, manipulate perception, and create a sense of wonder. Afternoons were dedicated to practical lessons, where they learned card manipulation, coin tricks, and escape artistry. Evenings were spent practicing tirelessly under the watchful eyes of their mentors. At first, Ethan struggled. His hands were clumsy, and his attempts at sleight of hand were laughable compared to his peers. There were moments when he doubted himself, wondering if he was truly cut out for this. But every time he felt like giving up, he remembered the awe he had felt watching Alaric perform. That memory became his driving force. One day, while practicing a coin trick, Ethan's frustration boiled over. He flung the coin across the room and slumped to the floor. Madame Celeste, who had been observing silently, approached him. "Do you know the secret to mastery, Ethan?" she asked. He shook his head, tears of frustration welling in his eyes. "Persistence," she said simply. "Every master magician you admire was once where you are now. The difference is that they didn't give up." Encouraged by her words, Ethan redoubled his efforts. Slowly but surely he began to improve. His hands grew steadier, his movements more fluid. He learned to anticipate his audience's reactions and use their expectations against them. He discovered the joy of creating illusions that left others spellbound. Months turned into years, and Ethan became one of the Academy's most promising students. His signature trick involved making a small bird appear out of thin air, a feat that earned him the admiration of his peers and mentors alike. Yet, despite his progress, Ethan remained humble, always seeking to learn more. The Academy's final test was a performance in front of a live audience. Each student had to create and execute a unique routine that showcased their skills and creativity. The night of the performance, Ethan was both nervous and excited. The theater was packed with people, their murmurs filling the air with anticipation. When it was Ethan's turn, he stepped onto the stage, his heart pounding. He took a deep breath and began his routine. He started with simple tricks, gradually building up to more complex illusions. His final act was his signature bird trick. As the audience watched in rapt attention, Ethan made a dazzling white dove appear out of an empty handkerchief. The crowd erupted into applause, their cheers echoing through the theater. Ethan's performance was a resounding success. Madame Celeste and the other mentors praised his creativity and showmanship. "You have truly mastered the art of magic," she said, her eyes filled with pride. Years later, Ethan became a renowned magician, traveling the world and captivating audiences with his illusions. Yet, he never forgot his humble beginnings or the lessons he had learned at the Academy. He often returned to his village, performing for the people who had supported him and inspiring young dreamers to pursue their passions. In his heart, Ethan knew that magic was more than just tricks and illusions. It was about creating moments of wonder and reminding people that the impossible was within reach. And as he stood on stage, the applause ringing in his ears, he realized that he had found his true calling. One day, as Ethan was preparing for a performance in a grand theater, a familiar figure appeared backstage. It was Alaric, the magician who had first inspired him. Time had etched lines on Alaric's face, but his eyes still twinkled with that unmistakable spark of mischief. "You've come a long way, Ethan," Alaric said, his voice warm with pride. Ethan smiled. "I owe it all to you," he replied. "If you hadn't given me that card, I might never have discovered this path." Alaric chuckled. "The card was just an invitation. The journey was yours to take, and you've done more than I ever imagined." As they talked, Alaric shared stories of his own journey, the challenges he had faced, and the lessons he had learned. Ethan listened intently, soaking in every word. It was a reminder that no matter how much one achieved, there was always more to learn and explore. That night, Ethan dedicated his performance to Alaric, acknowledging the profound impact the older magician had on his life. The audience was captivated as Ethan wove a narrative of inspiration and perseverance through his illusions, culminating in a breathtaking finale where dozens of doves filled the theater, their white wings shimmering under the stage lights. The standing ovation that followed was not just for the performance but for the story it told. A story of dreams pursued, challenges overcome, and the enduring power of magic to touch hearts and ignite imaginations. Ethan's legacy grew over the years, and he eventually founded his own academy, where aspiring magicians could learn the craft and carry forward the tradition of wonder and illusion. Among his first students was a shy, curious boy who reminded Ethan of himself. Handing the boy an intricately designed card, Ethan said with a smile, "Welcome to the world of magic. Your journey begins now."